All right, guys, welcome to 2021. It's your man Jay, and it is January 1st, 2021, the recording of this video. So I had to kick this year off with my 6-month review of the LG Velvet, the 5G variant. I've had this device for 6 months, and we're going to go ahead and talk about it, show you the cameras again, current day, recent day, how it actually is performing still. We're just going to do a brief discussion real fast. So here is the dual screen case right here. We'll get into that in a little bit because this is a device where you can snap on an extra screen, which is absolutely fantastic of LG to offer that. Unfortunately, there are some limitations when getting this. It's kind of tough to find. The only reason I have one is because LG sent it over to me. Finding the LG dual screen case can be tough depending on your location. Most companies are selling it with just the phone itself. So this is the display. This is a 6.8 inch full HD plus display, basically 1080p by 2460, and it's 395 pixels per inch. It is an AMOLED HDR10 display. You've got a 4300 milliamp hour battery inside, and just for reference, just so you know, I have been using this. My SIM card's in here. Before I started this review, I wanted to go ahead and start using it, just so you know. So this is a MediaTek version in the T-Mobile version, but this is the Snapdragon 765 version for AT&T. This is a 765G to be exact. 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, only 100 available to the user out of the box. But you can expand that with a micro SD card. And then you've got a 48 megapixel camera at f1.8. So I've used these cameras to record lots of videos on the channel, and you never know the difference. It's fantastic. I love the camera setup on the back too right here. You've got a wide angle and a depth sensor on there as well. Of course, in 4K UHD, obviously, you've got time lapse, slow motion, lots of things like that, video editors and things on there. And then the front camera is a 16 megapixel camera. That is the weaker side of this device for photos, but video is fine on the front camera, but photos, not so much. Not the best photo quality I've seen on the device. Still on Android 10, I haven't gotten any updates on this thing, man. But it's fine. I've always said that as long as the phone keeps working, I'm gonna rock with it. So all that technical stuff out of the way, let's take a look at the cameras. So 1080p 60 on the LG Velvet. Quick video sample. It's cold outside again, so just doing some footage in the living room. All right, now, so you've seen the cameras. We knew the cameras would be really, really good. Like I said, I have used this phone for so many videos on the channel. When I first got this device, man, I think I was using this for almost all the videos at one point. I had just put my camera down. So the cameras, definitely solid. Photos are fantastic. There's a pro mode, a bokeh voice mode. There's just a lot going on with these cameras, and they need to be recognized. It's just really, really good. So lots of settings in here. I really like the camera setup in here. Video, again, super nice video. I just like it a lot because you can go with the bokeh, basic, or ASMR recording, and I think that's important to know if you're going to use a phone for camera reviews and things like that, or just use it to record footage on your channel. The Velvet is a phone that you can actually do that with. Now, as you can see, I have snapped on the dual screen case because why? It has one. This is an optional thing you can get. You can actually snap on dual screen, and then thus it brings up, two applications at once. This is something that I think is really nice, really taking advantage of all of this canvas. You get an extra 6.8 inch display, and that is absolutely fantastic. This is something about this device that I've always liked. The V60 was a great phone, but having this phone, I didn't feel the need to keep the V60, so I got rid of the V60 last year. Really love the V60, but I just felt like, what's the point of having both? This one performs the same, just about, not as solid on the cameras as the V60 probably in the long run, but the performance and overall, I didn't see much difference, so I ditched the V60. Not because it was bad, again, because I had two of the same phone ultimately, and plus I thought this felt better than the V60. That was one of the main reasons I got rid of it. The comfort and feel of this with the dual case on was much better than the V60. It's a lot thinner, lighter, because it has a curved display. So the dual screen is an option that you can have where you basically can do two things at once. And this is the advantage of having a dual screen. Now, granted, I do have the Galaxy Z Fold, which is the creator of the year phone for me. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check that out. And then my phone of the year is the Pixel 4a 5G. So if you haven't seen that video, be sure to check that video out as well. But if you're wondering why I didn't pick the V60 or the Velvet, some of it comes down to price and availability. Some of these phones you just can't get, and it's kind of hard to recommend something that's not readily available, and it's just not being pushed by the company to make it even seem like they're interested in showing off their products. So while this is in a more expensive setup, it's a nice setup for those that want to spend the money. And if you can get this on sale and you can grab the dual screen case, you have a winner. You have a phone you can use for some years to come. You've got great cameras, fantastic battery life, and you have two screens. If you don't want to spend $2,000, this is definitely an option for you, because that phone I just held up, that folding phone, costs $2,000. And so you need to consider that as well. So I feel like in this situation, the Velvet is a win-win. It's really nice, man. You've got an in-screen fingerprint reader. You've got a nice color case. This silver case is much better than the one that's offered on the V60. I really didn't like that color at all, but I had to switch to that color just to get the dual screen case. And then you got the in-screen fingerprint reader, which I think is really nice. Unfortunately, the in-screen fingerprint readers aren't as accurate as a rear-mounted fingerprint reader, but they are accurate when they do work. I have yet to have any problems with this fingerprint reader over the last 6 months at all. No issues whatsoever. And I feel like LG has always done a good job with their displays, their software, things like that, in the options that they offer. When they do it well. Now, what doesn't this phone have? Well, it doesn't have facial recognition, which I think that's pretty strange, because it definitely is an option that could have been offered on this device. For whatever reason, they chose not to. And, that was a big thing for a lot of people. I didn't see the big deal about it, but some people really felt like they should have given facial recognition. Now, I guess one reason they could want that is because it has an in-screen fingerprint reader, and then this is a big phone. So having in-screen fingerprint reader without facial recognition was kind of like, yeah, that's kind of a tough draw. But it doesn't have it, so we got to move on. It doesn't have facial recognition, but I had gotten used to it, so it didn't matter to me. I just really like using the device. I like being able to launch two things at once, and I thought it was pretty cool that I could actually do so. And that's kind of the gist of this device, being able to multitask. Now, the multitasking isn't like the Fold. Let's be clear, because you do have a divider, but you can attach and detach this display. And that is an advantage to the Fold, because this can technically become a regular phone, if you will. So having the Velvet, using it on and off for the last 6 months, this phone, realistic usage for me, just started again in the last 2 weeks. And then before that, it got used easily for maybe, of the 6 months of its life here in my possession, maybe 4 months of that have been consistent. And even if it's not using it for phone calls or things like that, I'm still using it for production reasons. And I just think overall, with a good 2.5, 3 months of using this phone for phone calls and texts and emails as a main driver, even if it wasn't in my main SIM card, it was still a solid device. And that's why I decided to pick it up, put my SIM card in it again a while back, and started using it. I was like, this is just too good a phone to just let sit on the side. It's too good a phone, and I need to tell people about it. I liked it back then, folks, and I like it now. Now, as far as voting something phone of the year and things like that are just really worth it, like most phones, for most people, it's going to come down to price. Some people just don't want to pay the price, and I'm not going to knock them for that. This is an expensive setup based on today's market for what it's offering. But this is the only expensive setup by today's market if you're just looking at specs. There's plenty of phones. The Pixel 5 got, brushed off to the side, and I think the Pixel 5 is one of the best phones on the market. I think it's a great phone, but price sometimes, especially when compared to the Pixel 4a, those are pretty much the same phones. And then you have to bring this phone in. This has the same internals basically as the Pixel 4a 5G. If I take away the screen, these are a battlefield. It's going to go, but the Velvet costs more. And then the screen isn't free. So that is where you start recommending phones. You have to start telling people, I got to be truly honest with you. As much as I like this phone, and I do like this phone better than some of the other phones I've listed, but it's still on the higher side, and it's hard for me to recommend it for other people. So this is a great phone. It's totally doable in 2021 because it has two screens, something that a lot of phones just aren't doing at all right now, and they really should be. There are rumors of Apple's folding device and all these different things. There's rumors of a tri-folding Galaxy Z Fold 3. We shall see. So it's your man Jay. This is the LG Velvet 5G. 6 months later, it is still awesome, man. And I'm glad I decided to start using this again because it's a phone that has something a lot of phones don't have in those higher price tag brackets, a headphone jack. This phone has an IP rating, I believe. It has stereo speakers. It has great cameras. There's just a lot going on here for the price. So for some of us, it's totally worth it to purchase if we're going to get the use out of it, and some it's not. So it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. The Velvet is still very relevant in 2021. And if you can get one of these, I say grab it if you're into it. It's on Verizon, it's on AT&T, and it's on T-Mobile. But I tell you what, finding that dual screen might be a challenge. It's your man Jay. I'm out.